Welcome friends, and back to my channel, Cook from the Past, one of my two channels. The other one is Homestead in the Woods. You might already be a subscriber to that. But today, I didn't think I was going to be doing this. I was originally wanting to do only one channel, and I was trying to migrate all of my viewers over to Homestead in the Woods, away from my Cook from the Past. But this channel has continued to grow despite the fact that I haven't put any new videos on there since then. So the fact that it's continuing to grow tells me that someone out there is wanting to see this content, and so I guess I'm going to continue on. So today I'm going to be making another recipe from my mother's recipe box, and today it's going to be soda cracker pie. This is the recipe from her box. You can see that it was well loved. There it is. It's in my mother's own handwriting. It's really a very simple recipe, and I've got all the ingredients here to my side. So for soda cracker pie, and she has in parentheses, this was from a Mrs. Demers. I don't remember who that was. I probably would have as a child, but I don't anymore. So the ingredients are really very simple. It's 2 egg yolks and 2 egg whites, so it's a total of 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of chopped up nuts, 6 soda crackers, which is these guys. We don't call them soda crackers, but they're just saltines. And half a teaspoon of vanilla, and that is all that is in this. And I do remember this as a kid. This was made in the house when I was a child, but this recipe comes from a lot farther back than that. This is one of those Great Depression recipes, and I do have some cookbooks that are from the Great Depression era, and I have seen this recipe in those books. So obviously, this is where the recipe came from. It's very unusual ingredients. My husband actually was talking this morning about, I need to make a video and include 4 pies that sound really awful, but are actually very good. And he said soda cracker pie, mincemeat pie, mock apple pie, and there was one other one, I don't remember it now, but I'm not sure I'll do that. Maybe I will, I don't know, but I've got recipes for all of those. The thing is, I don't want to make a pie that he won't eat, and I know mincemeat pie has either currants or raisins in it, and he doesn't like raisins at all. They remind him of flies. Oh, that was the 4th one. He said shoe fly pie. So 4 pies that sound terrible, but are actually delicious, except if there's raisins involved, he will not be helping me to eat that pie, and I don't need it all myself. So let's get started on making the pie. Now, it did not say to do this in my mother's recipe, but I went ahead and buttered this 9-inch Pyrex pie pan. It didn't make any sense to me to have something very sticky in here and not grease it. So I did put some butter in there. And I'm going to go ahead, these are pecans. The recipe just said nuts, but I imagine any kind of nuts that you like would be fine. Pecans is what I had in my refrigerator, so that's what I am going to be chopping up. And I will be back as soon as that is done. Come to think of it, that recipe actually just says 1 cup of nuts. It doesn't say chopped up, but when you see the size of these pecans, I can't imagine that 1 cup of whole pecans is going to be really nice in that pie. I would think you'd want a nice consistent texture throughout that pie. So we'll see. But while I'm doing this, one of the things about recipes from the Great Depression was that they used simple ingredients in unusual ways, and they used ingredients that they would have had on hand, and ingredients that were easily found and not being restricted. I know sugar was being restricted at that time, if you could even find it at all or had the money to purchase it. So they very frequently saved their sugar ration for making something such as this. And when you think about it, when times are so tough, it makes you feel like things aren't quite so tough and things aren't so difficult if you can just have a dessert. And so I think that's where a lot of these recipes came from, out of desperation and the need to feel like things were normal. So I've got these all chopped up. I'm going to put them aside, and then I'm going to start working on the eggs. All right, I'm going to go ahead and separate my eggs. I need to beat the egg whites first, so I'm going to go ahead and beat them in the smaller bowl, and then I will put the eggs and the sugar in this larger one. But first I need to get everything separated. So I can do this without my eggshell busting up. Okay, there we go. And we've got our second egg here. Okay, I'm going to get my KitchenAid mixer, my little hand mixer out here now and take care of this. I could use beaters, but I'm kind of busy today. I've got to be making food for our dog. I usually make her food for 3 weeks at a time, and that's what I need to do today. That's why I'm getting this done this morning. So I'll be back in a minute with the beaters. Okay, so I don't want to have to stop and clean beaters, so I'm going to beat the eggs first, the egg whites first, and then I'm going to beat the egg yolks with the sugar. So I'll probably have to mute the sound while I'm doing this. Okay, I've got my egg whites beaten, and they're fairly firm peaks, so I think that was what was intended for this recipe. And again, my mom's recipe doesn't say exactly how to beat the eggs, but I do remember as a kid that they were well beaten, so that's what we have here. So next, I've got my 2 egg yolks in here. I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar and then beat that. All right, so this didn't make a batter by any means. This is just a crumbly mixture, as you can see. So we got to the sugar and the egg yolks done. And now, according to this recipe, so we beat the 2 egg yolks with 1 cup of sugar. We did that, beat 2 egg whites, and fold into the yolks. So I'm going to get a spatula. And fold these egg whites into the yolks. And when you fold things, you don't use the beaters with them. You just kind of incorporate them very slowly. I'll show you how to, it's looking here. You just incorporate them very carefully so you don't flatten your egg whites out too much. But it's really quite thick. So folding action is kind of like this, folding it over to get all of these ingredients mixed. All right. So the next thing we do is add 1 cup of nuts and 6 soda crackers. This is probably a little bit more than a cup, but that's fine. It's all good. Get this out of here. And 6 soda crackers. And again, soda crackers are pretty much the same as saltines. And it said 6 crackers, and when the crackers come in boxes like this, they're usually single crackers. So I'm just going to pull out 6 and see how that looks. I know you can also get them in squares where they're about this big, or halves that are about this big. So again, the recipe didn't specify, but I'm just going to go with these 6 crackers, and they need to be crumbled. It did not say finely crumbled, just crumbled, and I do kind of remember as a kid that these were not finely crumbled. They were just kind of what I'm doing this way. So my mom would have lived through the Great Depression as a child in England. And I know they were at least as affected in Europe as we were here. So it had a great impact on her life. So I'm going to go ahead and get my teaspoon. And it calls for a ½ teaspoon of vanilla. Let me get that from back here. In the meantime, I got my oven. Whew, that really went. Hey, a little bit extra vanilla is not all bad. In fact, I'm going for it and adding a teaspoon. So, what I was saying, I've got the oven preheated to 400 degrees. And what I'm going to do as soon as I get this into the oven, I need to turn it down to 350 degrees and bake this for 25 minutes. So again, very carefully, just kind of folding this all together. That looks good. It seems a little foamy, and I'll show that to you. It just kind of seems a little foamy, but it's actually looking very familiar to me. So I'm sure this is correct in how it's come together, because that's what I remember as a kid. I also have this recipe in my own recipe box. I was on my own and with a family at a very young age, and so I probably copied a lot of the recipes from my mother's recipe box into my own, and that's why I have it also. So you can see this kind of is still foamy, and I'm going to put it in the oven, and it's a 400-degree oven, and I'm going to put it in and then immediately turn it down to 350 degrees, and I will be back when it's all done. All right, here is our soda cracker pie. It's just freshly baked, cooled off, got a little cream on the top. So we'll give it a taste. You have never tasted this, correct?
No, and it's not. I got to tell you, it's nothing I would ever order in a restaurant.
Okay. Well,
maybe it's just a marketing thing, but let's
try it.
No, nothing. Everything that comes out of your kitchen is delectable. So I'm going to just bypass the name
and the disbelief.
Yeah, and disbelief.
I taste the nuts in it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I was to think of something this might be like, maybe chess pie?
What?
Chess?
No, that.
All right. Well, let's see.
I will tell you though that the name does not do this justice. This is more like a. This is like a. Yeah, it's pie-like, but it's more cookie-like. It's almost like a. It's almost like a chocolate chip. I know there's no chocolate in here, but it's there's texture with a crunchy cookie-like texture, but there's sweetness to it with the nuts. So it's it's in a field all its own, I think.
Well, maybe pecan pie.
I don't know. The flavor is really sweet, and the texture is good with the nuts. I think it's a hybrid between maybe a cookie and a pie. Definitely something that is worthy of a better name than soda cracker. I mean, I'd call it something different. I would call it completely something different. It suffers from poor marketing name.
Well,
but
it is a Depression era, so who wants to market Depression era?
Mm-hmm, right.
But it's sweet. It's obviously a dessert.
And there's nothing soda crackery about this.
No.
This is all very much a very sweet type of crunchy brownie kind of cookie. It's in a class of its own.
All right.
I don't know what to call it, but it's delicious.
But if you're,
it needs a better name.
All right. Well,
why don't we call it something like good?
All right. So it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really very different.
Very different. Mm-hmm.
So I had this in my childhood because there were periods of time when food was quite scarce. But I think the one thing that is different in this is we had white sugar back then, and this is organic. It's an organic, non-bleached kind of a sugar, and so the appearance of this is a little more brown, which I think makes up for that explains the difference in the way it looks. So I suppose it wasn't equal for equal because in the Depression there was just the processed white sugar that was available, but this I use the more modern day, less processed sugar, and so I think that accounts for the difference in the appearance, but I think the taste is probably still right there.
Yeah. The taste and the texture is the home run.
Yeah.
The appearance is there's nothing elaborate about or appealing about the appearance, but however,
appealing.
Right. You get past that and you know what you're headed for. It's really good, and I would say I know you added the whipped cream, but you know what this begs for? French vanilla ice cream. Oh,
but serve this hot with French vanilla ice cream. Hot, sugar hot.
Well, even cold, but hot would even be better.
Hot with French vanilla ice cream. Yep.
Oh my, yeah.
Yep. But this is a Depression era dish, so that's what I was going for. That's what we got. But you know what? During times when ingredients are scarce, and this was very little involved, I might have put maybe some additional soda crackers in there just to give it a little bit more lift. But I think, I think it's a good representation of a dessert.
Right, and ice cream and no ice cream. I know back in the Depression era, they probably ice cream was hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
But still, this all by itself, even the depression, would make a person feel less depressed.
There you go. That's what's important.
That's exactly right.
All right. It's a win.